I remember the day like it was yesterday. I had on my new suit, my new business cards, and I was walking in to a business networking event at the Chamber of Commerce in my new town. I couldn't be more excited. But when I got there, I looked around. I was a little concerned because I'd been to thousands of these. They should have been really easy and effortless for me. But what I recognized was nobody knew my name. Nobody knew my business, what products and services I brought to the community, and how I could support them. I'm not alone. According to the US Census Bureau, 26 million Americans move every single year. This changes not only who we are, but how we belong and how we work together in community. You see, when people move, we often focus in on the logistics. There I am with my moving truck. You often think about the boxes, the packing, the unpacking, the excitement of your new home or your new office. And in that process, we suddenly forget. We forget about the things that disappear. Our sense of belonging, of who we are. We get a little disoriented about life and what might be possible. Sociologists say that to be full, whole, and complete humans, we need three things. We need our home, we need our work life, and we need a third place. That place where we can just walk in and everybody knows your name. Where belonging is assumed, and often those places, you walk in and you get a hug no matter what. You might get a handshake. It's that place where you can laugh and you can cry and just truly be yourself. I realized on this move that I no longer had that. And I would have to rebuild it. So I got involved. I ended up joining that Chamber of Commerce. I tracked down the Alumni Association for my sorority and got involved there too. My husband and I, we went shopping for a church, we joined the country club, and darn it all, we even adopted a dog. It was time to rebuild the community, and I was nervous and excited to do it. Because what I found was the people who always lived here, they didn't understand. They didn't understand what I'd lost. But also, I didn't yet understand what they had built. It is this tension and this intersection that I think a lot of us are going through in community. As a newcomer, we just so want to belong. But yet, a lot of places we go, we feel out of place, y'all. We do. It happens. And as longtime residents, sometimes you get a little protective about what you have, and you don't want to let people in. As I reflect now on my move process, I realize that I didn't just move to Tennessee. As I was moving, AI was also moving into our world, for good, for bad, and for interesting. My third place could no longer be just a place of geography. It needed to be a place that I would create and that I would own as a new beginning here in Tennessee. So I want you guys all to take a moment and think about this. I didn't just move. You didn't just move. We all moved when AI moved into our world. And as a result of that, the loneliness epidemic is higher than it's ever been before. Our workplaces are changing. Our communities are changing. So as you've been out in the world this past week, raise your hand if when you were looking for a solution to something, you came across a chatbot. Anyone? A lot of us had to work with a chatbot this week. Or perhaps you walked into that favorite place and suddenly they told you had to order on an app or on one of those little screen devices. AI is everywhere. And we are going to have to learn in community how to build and work with it. You see, AI might be making our world faster, but it's also sometimes asking us to make different decisions and questions. One of my favorites, now that I'm reaching out to meet so many people, is I have to ask, do you want to meet on Zoom, on Teams, on Facebook? Do you want to meet in the old school way on a phone call or even go to coffee face to face. And with each and every one of those decisions, behind it is also an AI tool that we might be accessing in those conversations. But there's a risk. There's a risk that nobody's talking about. People are confused and disoriented by who they are becoming alongside AI. Let me say that again. People are confused and disoriented by who they are becoming alongside AI. In my work as a human leadership architect, I see this all the time, and I've recognized a pattern. So many of us are focused on the fear of AI, which tool to pick and how to write a prompt, that we're not really paying attention to that inner human voice that's perhaps telling us we're a little confused, and that's okay. The fear of AI is okay too. But I'm here to remind you, we have all survived many levels of technology change. For some of you, it may be the oven becomes the microwave. For others, it may be the land phone became your cell phone. For others, it might be your desktop computer became a laptop or an iPad. There's millions of ways that technology is changing, and I want to remind you today that maybe we can even have a little bit of hope about how AI is going to change us as human beings and in community. Because something fundamental has changed. It's the way we connect. The way we connect used to be one to the other. It was me and it was you. And in that little intersection, it was easy. There was easy ways to connect and get to know each other. But now we know that that Venn diagram has changed. Now it's community now is me and it's you. That's kind of the same. But then we add this new thing, the idea of artificial intelligence. We need to be talking at the intersection of those three pieces. And I call that community, but I spell it a little different. Common, as in with, and unity, common unity. When we come at AI being a part of us and leverage its possibilities, it is when we grow. I saw this in real life recently on a Zoom call. Person number 1 jumped in, person number 2 jumped in, but then there was AI bot 3, AI bot 4, AI bot 5. And when I took roll call, suddenly there was more chatbots in the room than there was actual human beings. That led me to think a little bit more about this idea of conversation. There's 3 ways we used to communicate when it was just one-to-one. We had the idea of awareness. We'd ask, who am I? Then we'd ask alignment, who am I with you? And as we'd move through, then we would decide what was next between us. I'm meeting Amanda, Amanda's meeting me, and we decide that we're going to be friends or we're going to do business together. In an AI world, these same pillars still exist, but they've changed just a little bit. We must pause and think before we jump on our AI. Before you pick a tool, before you write a prompt, who do I need this tool to be when it shows up in my world? How do I need this tool to show up for me? What am I going to do? And how will I stay true to who I am while I use it? And then the idea of agency. How do I collaborate to get the outcomes that I actually want to get out of the tool? When I worked with my client, Melissa, we did just exactly this. And she started to discover that it wasn't about picking the tool, but it was about programming the tool to bring her highest and best authentic self into the working world that she was creating. And as a result, she felt more confident and more clear utilizing AI in the virtual world as well as in face-to-face conversations. This was true for me when I moved from Denver here to Tennessee. When I moved, in Denver, I knew how to get a glass of wine with a girlfriend. I knew how to hit up a business networking event. But here, suddenly, I did not. And I did something that even surprised me just a little bit. I opened that computer. I went to my preferred chatbot, and I asked this question. Chat, as my best girlfriend, can you help me understand how to belong in this new community? I did not ask it to write my bio. I did not ask it to write a social media post or a newsletter. I was not giving my agency away, but I was starting a conversation. I had already uploaded into that chat bot information about myself, the community, and together we were able to curate conversations. I was able to become committed in a new way to this community. So I believe that the future of community might not just be a third place, but it might be the power of you stepping in to honoring yourself, your friends, your family around you, your business associates, and your AI together. Because it is possible that our third place is no longer bound by geography. But like we said, sometimes human nature is funny. And I actually had a woman tell me I came into town like a wrecking ball. Now, I was just naive enough to think that that might have been a compliment. Because I came to realize that all of us, on some level, are in a world of wrecking balls where things are falling away, and we consciously have to rebuild the future of what we want ourself and what we want our communities to be. But I knew I had finally found my place of belonging. It was just about a month ago. I was at a community event, and a woman that I had seen all over town, but had never really talked to, pulled me aside, and she whispered, "Holly, I just want you to know, you're everywhere. But you're not just everywhere. You actually know us. You value us. You allow us to contribute to you, and we contribute back to you." That little whisper made me know that this model, common unity, actually made a difference. Because what I want to share with you is, when I walked in February, I used my AI to get the opportunity to speak at the Hendersonville Women Impacting the Community event. The two women in that photo at that time, I didn't know at all. But we got to know each other. I got to speak at the Sumner Women in Business event. And then the more I utilized these individual women that I met, that I connected with, and my AI, the more efficient and proficient I got at building community. And I'm so excited today to say that I actually have friends that are right here in this room cheering me on. Community is interesting in these dynamic and changing times. If this conversation has resonated with you in any way, I want you to ask yourself, who am I with AI? And recognize that this is our collective human work. This cannot be outsourced. We are all navigating change. We are navigating rebuilding connection. And together, with our AI tools, we have the ability to create a powerful community in our new third place.